What is good, YouTube? Sorry you had to end the first live soon. Still, moving stuff around. Um, so okay, so for me, one thing about me is that I will never put myself in a position. I will never put myself in a position to embarrass myself. Okay. Um, we all know how I felt when the New York Giants selected Malik Neighbors. Now, I'm not saying that Malik Neighbors is not a bad player. He's electric. With the ball in his hand, he can only do so much. He needs somebody to throw the ball to, right? But for me, I tackle upon I tackle upon perfect. Not really perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Um, I wanted a doomsday because, for one, he plays in cold weather, right? Playing in Washington, upstate, you get the drift. So he's comfortable with the area. He's from the area. Okay. I think he's from New Jersey. Um, you know, they interviewed him. Um, but I guess again the Giants are making a big mistake. Um, I think I think the New York Giants are one of those teams that back then they used to go out their way and get players like Roma Doomsday, Like y'all remember Hakeem Nicks, right? Didn't really talk too much, just put his head down and worked. You know, I mean the injuries robbed him, sure. But you know what? We got every ounce out of him. He has breakout year in 2010. You know, 2009 he missed a couple of games, came back, scored a touchdown against the Raiders. No, 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 no. It was against the Chiefs. They did like a little screen pass to him, and he took it to the house. And then that one play where he stopped and he let the other guy go, that was pretty nasty. And then especially um, that Sunday night game where he dropped like three passes, and then it was like a 3rd and 4, and Eli threw it to him. He did a little shake. He did a little basketball spin. No, he shook the defender first, and then he spun, and then he broke out for a touchdown. Even though the Giants lost that game, um, but you saw the potential. You know, he had a great preseason game. You know, scored 2 touchdowns against the Jets. Scored another touchdown against the Patriots. And then after that, he still holds the most touchdowns in postseason in Giants history. He has 4 touchdowns. No Giant receiver yet has broken that. Um, so that little history still stands. So my point is, a Doomsday strikes me as a guy that is a blue collar, right? He's gonna work. He's not gonna complain. He's just gonna put his head down and work. I wanted JJ McCarthy, but I knew that the Giants was not going in that direction again. So their best option was to draft for receivers, but which one? Right? Which receiver would the Giants draft at number 6? Now, obviously, Marvin Harrison was off the board. So that left a Doomsday and Malik Neighbors. I don't know for the life of me why the New York Giants continue to draft LSU receivers. That shit doesn't work. The Giants are better off just drafting defensive players from LSU. Hell, Cody Webster worked. I mean, one is two. Was he there for the third one? I'm not sure. I think he was only there for no, he was only there for that one Super Bowl ring. But at least he gave us some good production. He struggled his rookie year, kind of, but he picked it up. And then he was our best, cornerback. Alongside Aaron Ross and Terrell Thomas. But at least he gave us some level of production. Chad Jones, who was drafted at LSU, didn't really get to play because he got in a scary car accident that obviously cut his football career short. Now I believe now he's coaching football in high school. Um, so kudos to him. What would his career look like if he suited up for the Giants? Because there was a lot of comparisons that it was comparing him to Sean Taylor, and it was comparing him to Troy Polamalu, and it was comparing him to a very young Brian Dawkins. So he had a lot of great characteristics about him, but unfortunately, he was unable to fulfill his football dreams because he got into a scary car accident, which paralyzed his legs. Um, but in the front, I just want leaders, man. I just want leaders. And a Doomsday strikes me as a guy, he said in an interview, like, I want to be the leader of the team. Like, it's me, like it's not I, it's we. He said we. I want to be the what I'm saying? Like Malik Neighbors didn't say anything like that. Let's just be honest. And you know what? I'm gonna watch it right now. I'm just gonna show a little clip of it, because this is driving me crazy. This really is. And again, no disrespect to Malik Neighbors. I think he's gonna be a very, very good receiver. Um, for Roma Doomsday to go to the Bears to team up with Caleb Williams. Now Caleb Williams got a very good receiver. I'm telling you, the Bears are going to be doing something this year. A lot of people are going to be shocked. Um, you know, it's that rookie to rookie tandem. You don't see a lot in NFL. Odell Beckham Jr. takes jab at New York Giants for making trade personal. How Roma Doomsday tried to sell himself to the New York Giants. All right, so let's just watch this little clip.
Not physical, not speed or size, just your best trait.
Watch what he says.
I played inside a lot in my career. Some early on days,
See?
I'm a blocker. I could get down on the line and get the job done, and I think I played pretty well outside. So you kind of plug and pull me, whatever you want. I'm gonna go get the job done. Why should we draft you? I think, other than all my skills on the field, I'm a guy who's going to come into your locker room and bring the energy, bring the juice, adhere to a high standard and bring everybody along with me, into that room as a leader, as someone who, people can look to as an example of how to do things right, and how to carry yourself in a way that, it inspires others, inspire the big fan base and big market that you guys have. Yeah, you're an impressive young man, man. Appreciate it. What's your best trait? Not.
Okay. Now we're gonna go to Marvin Harrison. I mean, not Marvin Harrison. We're gonna go to Malik Neighbors. Okay. Now this is Malik Neighbors.
Handle.
Now watch the difference. Listen to the
Restraint.
difference.
Not at all. I hate losing more than I love winning. Okay, and then how do you handle not being involved early in the game? How do I handle it? Yeah, I handle it pretty tough, especially during the week. That's what I'm looking for. Being in the offense, in the week, putting in the work.
The different conversation that Rome Odunze had versus what Malik Neighbors was asked. Obviously, they're not going to throw the same questions out. But you can obviously tell that the Giants are one of those teams that are desperate to win. Okay. Again, Malik Neighbors does not strike me as a guy that is a team player. Was Odell when ask me a question, or ask me a question, or let me ask you a question. When Odell Beckham Jr. was drafted, was he a leader? Oh sure. When Odell Beckham Jr. was drafted in 2014, 10 years ago, okay, was he to be considered a leader? Because we already had Sterling Shepard, Victor Cruz, actually. Sterling Shepard was in his I think he was his rookie. Yeah, I think he was a rookie that year. Victor Cruz was a vet, and then Odell Beckham Jr. was obviously a rookie. Or I think Sterling Shepard was in his second year, because Sterling Shepard got drafted in 2016. Odell Beckham Jr. got drafted in 2014, so 2 years apart. But was Odell Beckham Jr. considered a quote unquote leader? No, he wasn't. Again, I never viewed Odell to be a number one receiver. I wanted Mike Evans. Again, for reference, I always liked the tall receivers. I'm a tall receiver myself. I stand 6'2". I stand 6 feet 2 inches tall. I weigh about 224 or 225. I haven't really checked my weight like that. So I always had a thing for tall receiver. Plaxico Burress, Marvin Harrison Jr., Marvin Harrison Sr. Who else? Calvin Johnson, Megatron. I said Calvin Johnson, Megatron. Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss. I always had a thing for tall receivers. I never liked the short receivers. I never liked the medium receivers. I never liked the receivers because, I'll take that back. I like tall receivers. I don't like the statue of 6 foot. I like them tall because they can get you those 50-50 balls. Out of Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, and Marvin Harrison, who's the tallest receiver out of those three? You would probably say Rome Odunze, right? Now, Rome Odunze is going to have somebody to throw the ball to. He has somebody to throw the ball to, and that's Caleb Williams. And we know how those rookie wide receivers, rookie tandem, or rookie wide receivers, rookie quarterback tandem works. You look back at Brandon Marshall and Jay Cutler. Their years with the Bears is going to be similar to what Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams is going to provide. I think the Bears is going to have a significant bounce back year this year. And I also believe that they're going to win their division. And they're going to have a decent record to at least put themselves to the playoffs. Again, Marvin Harrison is going to a very shaky, okay situation in Arizona. He has Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is probably top what 5, top 10 quarterbacks in the league right now. He's going to a very good offense, and he's going to a quarterback that could throw him the ball. Malik Neighbors does not like Odell Beckham Jr. Let's just face it right there. I know a lot of Giants fans are going to miss this because they know the answer. And I'm going to say this over and over again. The Giants knows the answer. I have the solution. Malik Neighbors never liked it, Odell Beckham Jr. If you go back and look at that draft when he was interviewed, and one of their media reporters say, what would you feel? What would it? What's the nervousness? Not nervousness, but how do you feel getting the ball thrown to Daniel Jones? And Malik Neighbors said, "Oh, Daniel Jones is phenomenal. Is a okay quarterback. You say he's an okay quarterback. Okay, he's an okay quarterback." Don't worry. After this, I'm gonna show you what he said.
Be straight. Not at all. I hate losing more than I love winning. Okay, and then how do you handle not being involved early in the game? How do I handle it? Yeah, I handle it pretty tough, especially during the week. That's what I'm looking for. Being in the offense, in the week.
That's what you're looking for, really. Oh, I feel like cussing. I feel like cussing. I don't want to cuss, but I feel that's what you're looking for.
For the one offense, getting a lot of plays, known to be called for me. So if I'm not in those plays, I'm not getting the ball. I'm pretty hard on it. I don't mind that.
So that tells me two things. For one, Malik Neighbors is already a problem. Like sometimes wide receivers are not patient. They're not patient. They're not patient. They're not patient receivers, or they're not patient players at all. If they don't get their touches, to get their targets, to get their touchdowns, they're gonna flip. Now, most of them, not all of them, but you don't mind. You don't mind, Fat Boy. Like really. And again, I'm not bashing nobody, just speaking the truth. What happened 10 years ago is going to happen now. I guarantee you it. Out of all those quarterback, out of all those three receivers, guess who's going to win Rookie of the Year? Malik Neighbors. He's going to have one of those magical catches, and yeah, I mean, it may not be Odell Beckham Jr. like, but he's going to wow everybody. And that's all everybody's going to be talking about. Because when Odell Beckham Jr. came into the league, he came with a flair. The peach buttercup hair that everybody was rocking, the one-handed catch. Everybody was making for. He has a lot of memes. To be honest with you, he has a lot of memes with that catch. Even though we lost that game Sunday night, but that's what everybody was just talking about. That catch, the catch, the catch, the catch, the catch, that catch. It was everywhere. It was sickening. I didn't even want to I turned my I didn't even watch the Giants for like 4 straight days because it was just everywhere. And that's what Odell Beckham Jr. obviously said. He's gonna come in here and he's gonna set the tone, and because that's all these LSU receivers almost talk about. They just talk about themselves. They don't really talk about the team. They don't talk about the team aspect. And for Malik Neighbors to come to a big, to come from a big school like LSU, You would have thought that he would have said, you know what, I handle myself pretty well. You know, um, I handle myself pretty well. I'm a very patient guy, and and that's what Brian Dable said. Like you're gonna have to channel all that in, even though you're not getting the ball. You have to, channel all that in. You think that he's not gonna be able to channel all that in? Of course not. He's gonna pout. He's gonna complain. He's gonna whine, just like Odell Beckham Jr. did. They cut from the same cloth. I'm telling you. You look at Mike Evans, I swear. You look at Mike Evans, you see how he didn't get the ball, but he was a team player. When Godwin and the rest of those receivers was getting theirs, yeah, he was mad, but he understood that okay, for this team to win, I don't have to be the vocal point. You know, I don't have to be the guy. Godwin can take over the top, and I could just be a decoy. When the time comes, I'll get mines. And he humbled himself. I don't see that in Malik Neighbors. If Daniel Jones even overthrow him once, twice, or he may not even look at his direction, or maybe the defense might be too good for him to throw it and force it into interception. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that look at his face. Look at his face. I don't mind. So Brian Dable, when he acts out on the sideline, don't act surprised. Because you remember, you said I don't mind. I don't mind that. Right? You don't mind that. For me, I like professionalism. Professionalism goes a long way. If you carry yourself a certain way, you're gonna last in this league like Larry Fitzgerald did. You're gonna last in this league like Toomer did. But if you're selfish and you're all about yourself, you're gonna wind up yourself, you're gonna wind up just like AB, out of the league.
I want guys that want to get the ball, I want guys that hate losing. But you got to learn how to harness that a little bit. Right. I don't mind the competitive juice, man. That's what you need some dogs. Right. I want guys that want the ball. Yes. Sometimes you lose. I mean, not losing too as a coach, but you got to learn how to harness that good. Yes.
He ain't gonna harness shit. My bad for my cussing, but he ain't gonna harness. And again, I just the writing is just on the wall for him, man. Like I could tell when a person is genuine and good. You know, like when we drafted Steve Smith, not number 89, Steve Smith, number 12. I knew for a fact that he was going to be something special because he acted just like Roma Doomsday. He put his head down. He didn't complain. He didn't whine. He didn't moan. He just put his head down and he worked. He worked his tail off. Hakeem Nicks, same thing. Mario Manningham, same thing. Victor Cruz, same thing. But when you get guys like this, they don't last in the league. They really don't. I mean, he's going to be, trust me, 6 years from now, let me see, we in 2024, 2024, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6 years from now, he's not gonna be a Giant no more. They're gonna trade him. Even though they drafted him, they're gonna trade him. Now, obviously, they didn't draft Odell Beckham Jr., but the writing was on the wall with Odell. He was a head case. He was a ticking time bomb. Now, I'm gonna show y'all a video of Malik Neighbors and Daniel Jones. The video that I'm talking about. Where is it? There it goes. It's right here. It says He doesn't like Daniel Jones. He doesn't want the Giants to draft him. He's too arrogant. So let's see what he says. Let's see. Malik Neighbor's interview caused controversy. Now listen to what he said. Oh my God, it's stupid.
All right, Giants Nation. If you're anything like me, you're constantly searching for all of the latest draft news, even though we're getting ready for the free agency.
Okay, so it says they're gonna want me to get the ball, so I'm sure they're gonna want to get a quarterback that can do that. Malik Neighbors on Giants situation, quarterback situation. Malik Neighbors didn't hide his feelings about the New York Giants already about the New York Giants situation when he asked about during the interview on CBS Sports. The full quote: "Going to New York wouldn't be a bad idea. Going to New York wouldn't be a bad idea. The quarterback situation, they're going to figure it out, especially if they have a caliber receiver coming like me. They're going to want to get the ball, so I'm sure they're going to want to get a quarterback that can do that. Hindsight, draft me a quarterback. I'm not playing with Daniel Jones. I'd rather play with JJ McCarthy. At least he came from that hardball, you know, system, you know, especially with a caliber receiver like me. They're gonna want to get me the ball, so I'm sure they're gonna want to get a quarterback that can do that. Neighbors also said he interviewed with the Giants and they told him that they loved his game. It's like I don't know what it is. Like I said, I don't know what it is about the New York Giants, but they cannot seem to get. They cannot seem to draft receivers in other positions, in other teams, I should say. You know, like this is a third straight receiver. This is like the third straight receiver that the New York Giants had from LSU. They had Ruben Randall, didn't pan out. Odell was a head case, didn't pan out. So what do you think Malik Neighbors is going to become? It's a ticking time bomb, people. It's a chain reaction. You know. Now Malik. Now I would say this: Ruben Randall wasn't really a head case. He just didn't produce like he should have. He was only there for 3 years, from 2012 to 2015, and then he got he went to the Eagles, right? And then after that, 2000 his last team was against the Bears, or was with the Bears, and then he signed to the Canadian Football League. So right now he's a free agent because he just got released June 9th.
And the first thing I said to myself was, wait, did he really say that? Because this is one of my favorite wide receivers. He can do or say nothing wrong. So the fact that this actually was said to the interviewer didn't really bother me, because once you watch the interview,
Like sometimes you just gotta watch what you say, man.
Some resources. We don't even know who potentially would be the quarterback for the Giants. Starting with the G-men right there, what do you think about the possibility of going to New York and then also not even knowing your quarterback, as far as like Daniel Jones might not even be the guy?
Right. That's a decision that is gonna have to be placed. When I hear my name called, especially since I don't know where I'm going. So, going to New York, it wouldn't be a bad idea. But quarterback situation, I know, they're gonna figure it out. Especially, if they got a caliber receiver coming like me, they're gonna want to give me the ball. So I'm sure they're gonna want to have a quarterback that can do that.
Did you interview with them?
Yes, sir. Yes,
and what were they asking you?
They was just asking me more about my tape. They love how my game. They love how I'm explosive. They love my speed. Love my integrity in my route.
And all these other receivers are the same. I mean, I don't know why these giant content creators saying that they're Malik Neighbors and Odell Beckham Jr. are different. They cut from the same cloth, my guy. Like they all had. Trust me, LSU receivers are headaches. Defensive side, offensive side, they're headaches. Like you saw what happened to Tyrann Mathieu, right? Yeah, I saw what happened to Tyrann Mathieu. He got busted. He got busted. But thank gosh that Angel was looking out for him because behold, his former partner, Patrick Peterson, said, you know what, the Cardinals, let's draft him and mold him into a great player. And he had a okay rookie year, you know, won the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. You know, I think he's still in the league. He changed his ways, you know. I mean, I don't know. I forgot what he got in trouble for, but he got in trouble. Like LSU players are just troublemakers, man. It depends on who you draft, but most of the part, man, they just come from broken down households, man. Or some of them just comes from a very powerful background family, like Odell, you know. Odell, mom was a star track runner. Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad was I think, basketball player overseas. So it depends on who you draft, you know. But I'm not saying that all LSU players are the same, or I'm not really the same. But I'm not saying that all the LSU players are troublemakers. It just depends on who you draft. But you can already see the writing on the wall with Malik Neighbors. I'm not saying that he's a bad kid, but if you don't feed him that rock, boy, he's gonna explode like Tasmanian devil. Tell you.
Good hit, love? Not too much. All right. So now that you've seen the part of the interview where he speaks about the Giants, I want you to think about the way the information was presented to us, and then I want you to think about the actual interview because I'm going to give you my opinion. In my opinion, this is a whole lot of nothing. You have a Giants fan page who's trying to get clicks, and they will do anything to get clicks. But then you also have a Giants.
It's not clicks, New York Giants, please. More New York Giants, please. It's not clicks. Um, when you don't have a quarterback, like let me explain something to y'all. When you don't have a quarterback that can get you the ball in clutch situations, it affects your game so much. It really does. And I'm gonna stop it here. So we're gonna go to Odell Beckham Jr. real quick. Now again, what's the difference between Odell Beckham Jr. and Malik Neighbors? Like, why did Odell Beckham Jr. fall all the way to 12th? You could have said Odell Beckham Jr. should have been their first round pick, second, third, fourth, fifth. He fell all the way to 12th. So that means that one, he had injury history that probably the Giants knew about, and they still drafted him because the level of talent couldn't be passed up. And for two, he probably had character issues, which obviously Malik Neighbors have fucking character issues. Now, so far, Malik Neighbors is clean. He's not injury prone like Odell Beckham Jr. Because remember, Odell came in here with a hamstring injury that was bothering him in college. He missed four or five regular season games. He missed all of training camp, preseason. He came back all the way to week 5 against the Falcons, won that game, and obviously Sunday night game, Victor Cruz broke his ankle or messed up his leg. He was going for the touchdown and he just cramped and he just fell onto the floor. He caught it and then he just fell into the floor. And then obviously the season-ending surgery, and he's never been the same. He was never the same after that. But Odell Beckham Jr. was drafted in the 12th round. First overall pick, 12th round. Why did he fall? Like I said, why did he fall? Character issues, injuries. Why did Malik Neighbors fall all the way to 6? Malik Neighbors could have gone second, third, fourth, top 5. But nobody's going to be stupid enough to draft a receiver that high. Their value is not valuable to a quarterback like it is a quarterback. So both players, highly competitive, highly productive, both of them fell very low. When you look at Akeem Nicks, he was drafted in the first round. He was the first overall draft pick. He kind of stumbled a little bit his rookie year, got hurt, finished the season strong. 2010, that was his breakout year. You draft who you know, not who you love. Now I'm going to watch this 2-minute clip of Odell Beckham Jr. being the first round draft pick. I don't know what he's saying. I got to put this subs on. I will say this about Odell. His rookie year was very fantastic. Even though he didn't start from start to finish, he was arguably the best receiver in that draft class. Even though he struggled a little bit, he obviously, made up for it at the end. And, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And he finished very strong. Not only did he win Rookie of the Year, but he won Play of the Year, which obviously they lost, but obviously nobody cared about the Cowboys winning that game. Everybody was talking about that catch. And I can pull, 100 college football tapes with one-handed catches. So Odell Beckham Jr. was not the first one to do it, But, now we're going to look at Hakeem Nicks. Like I said, before before, I was a huge New York Giants fan. I was a huge college fan. I loved college football. You know, um, so we're gonna be looking at this draft. So the New York Giants selected Hakeem Nicks, pick 29. Hakeem Nicks fell all the way to 29. Where was the production there? Amazing, right? Now, again, he did struggle his rookie year, but he picked it up in 2010, 11, 12. I wrote it down here somewhere. I wrote it down. So Odell Beckham Jr., not Odell, Hakeem Nicks from 2009 to 2015. And then obviously he did come back 2016, I believe. 2016, he came back. But the chemistry was just not there with Eli anymore. So 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So he spent 7 years with the New York Giants. Never made a Pro Bowl, won one Super Bowl, still holds the Giants record for most touchdowns in the playoffs with 4. I mean, he was just a beast, I don't want to say if injuries didn't rob him, which is a part of sports. Everybody gets injured. This is not a video game where he could turn the injuries off and he could play until he's damn nearly 40. You know what I'm saying? Which is ironic because NFL receivers don't even last that long. Unless you're Larry Fitzgerald or not Larry, Jerry Rice. I'm surprised Jerry Rice lasts that long. But I'm gonna show you how the clip.
Careful, buddy. If you think about the Giants, they felt as if without Plexico, that was their season. The loss of him, so you have to replace him. If they don't select the receiver, this plays fully rough. That man will fall over. I think he will fall over. This plays fully rough. All right, here we go. We've got a pick. Giants get their pick right off the commissioner. Fasten your seatbelt.
With the 29th pick in the 2009 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Hakeem Nicks, wide receiver, North Carolina.
Remember, I was a huge Tar Heel fan too.
Hakeem Nicks is a Giant.
If you have any doubt about this kid's ability, just put on the North Carolina tape in their bowl game. He put on a show.
Yeah, they was comparing him to Anquan Bolton.
Reminds me a little bit of a poor man's Anquan Bolton. He didn't run fast, but he's so quick. He uses his big body to separate. He's got tremendous hands.
Oh yeah, that play where he had that thing between his legs.
There's the famous one where he put it between his legs.
That was unbelievable.
That was just a show.
So Toomer had retired. Remember, Toomer and Plaxico was not there. So what did the Giants do? They replaced him with Hakeem Nicks and Steve Smith. Two young, solid receivers that contributed for the New York Giants.
He is stronger than people think. Stems up there on the corner, over the top, double team.
I was very excited when he got drafted because I saw his ball game.
Fights for the football, continues to fight, gets the ball into the end zone. Hakeem Nicks has some off-the-field issues where people say, is he a hard worker? Does he show up every day? I thought the book.
Now it's Plaxico right there and Toomer. And now you replace him with Steve Smith and Hakeem Nicks, and you still have Kevin Boss. And they won a damn Super Bowl. Like, what are we talking about? Sometimes you have to reminisce from the old days. Now, PFF had the New York Giants wide receiving core at 30. They're ranked 30th. Even with Malik Neighbors, they're ranked 30th. Who's behind them? The Jaguars. Who's dead last? The Bears. So, yeah. Hakeem Nicks was picked number 29th. He fell that far in the draft. I kudos to New York Giants for drafting Hakeem Nicks. Because for one, being a North Carolina Tar Heel fan, I've watched his tape. I've watched his college game. He was bigger than people give him credit for. You know, he worked his tail off. He never complained. He never whined. He was never a distraction to the team. He just put his head down and he worked. And at the end of the day, he won a championship for it. Steve Smith, same thing. Mario Manningham, same thing. Plaxico Burress, when he came here, same thing. They just were blue-collar players, man. They just didn't put them. They just didn't put it on themselves. You know, they just went out, played their butts off, and at the end of the day, they were awarded Super Bowl champions. Now, did any of them win Rookie of the Year? Hell no. Outside of Plaxico Burress, obviously, but Steve Smith and Hakeem Nicks, Mario Manningham didn't win Rookie of the Year. And I think that Rookie of the Year thing is cursed. I really do. I think it's cursed. Odell Beckham Jr. won it. We had a not so good record. Saquon Barkley won it. We didn't have a good record. So I think it's better for Malik Neighbors not to win Rookie of the Year. If Malik Neighbors wins Rookie of the Year, we are missing the playoffs. I can tell you that crap right now. If Malik Neighbors wins Rookie of the Year, we are not making the playoffs because it's a domino effect. Saquon Barkley won it, missed the playoffs with a 7-9 record. No, with a 6-11 record or 6-12 record. Odell Beckham Jr. won it 10 years ago. They finished with a 7-9 record. Hakeem Nicks, Mario Manningham, Victor Cruz, Steve Smith, number 12, Steve Smith. None of them won Rookie of the Year. And they got Super Bowls out of that. So probably it's a gift and a curse sometimes. You know, the gift is, yeah, you win Rookie of the Year, but the curse is your team sucks. It's a very good accomplishment, don't get me wrong. You know, I think, you know, a lot of players want to win Rookie of the Year, you know, but only one can win. So, again, I wanted a Doomsday for the simple fact that he's from the area. He embraces the New York Giants. I think him and Daniel Jones would have worked so perfectly together. Now we already having issues with Malik Neighbors saying that, oh, they're gonna figure out who their quarterback is. Daniel Jones is the quarterback, obviously. They didn't draft his replacement. Even though he does play all 17 games or 18 games, the chemistry is not going to be there. To me, the chemistry is not going to be there. And it sucks because, you know, like if you go back and look at that Hard Knocks tape, nobody stood out to them. Nobody. They didn't want to hear. They wanted to hear what they wanted to hear. They didn't want to hear what Malik Neighbors had, or not Malik. They didn't want to hear what Roma Doomsday had to say. Even though Roma Doomsday went out and said everything that he should have said, You know, like they questioned Marvin Harrison. They said that, oh, if sir, let's say you're 3rd and 10, and Daniel Jones overthrows you, are you going to call him out? Are you going to do this? Like, no, that's not me. You know, Marvin Harrison Sr. said that, no, that's not me. You know, if I'm going to blame anybody, I'm going to blame myself for not catching that ball. Knowing damn well, not he didn't say knowing damn well, but knowing I can and I was capable of catching that ball. I put the blame on myself because I didn't put the effort into catching that ball. And then, Joe Shane said that, okay, let's say if it's a 4th and let's say it's a 4th and 3, and Daniel Jones Daniel Jones overthrows you. Are you going to call him out? He said that that's not his game. He don't call out receivers. He don't call out quarterback. And then he just reverted back to the same thing he said for the other question. Like, if he could have made a better throw, but it's my job to go and catch the ball. So right then and there, that told me that the Giants wasn't very interested in Marvin Harrison. Great talent, but when it comes to intangibles and just, being held accountable, they just didn't see it. Roma Doomsday, everything that he said was spot on. He wanted to be that leader, which we don't rarely see leaders. We don't rarely see wide receiver leaders anymore. But he wanted to take on that role. Coming from the area, playing in the cold. I'm not saying that Malik Neighbors haven't played in the cold, but LSU is from the South. People really have to understand, like, LSU is located in the South. They don't like cold climates. They really don't. You go back and look at Odell Beckham Jr. in that playoff. Oh, he was bad. He was dropping balls like he had mitten gloves on him. He had cactuses as hands. The ball was just dropping. Or that's a bad example. He acted like he had butterfingers, like he couldn't catch the ball. And Victor Cruz knew better. He's been in that situation before. But you can't tell Victor Cruz to calm Odell Beckham Jr. down and say this and that and the third. Like, Odell Beckham Jr. is his own person, And I think that's where Tom Coughlin lost the locker room. And once you lose the locker room, boy, it's a good night, Irene. But Roma Doomsday answered everything that was possible. Not possible, was asked. They asked him, what type of plays like you like to run, or if it's a digging out route, what I'm saying, like, where do you want to be, in the slot, outside? He said, oh, you could just line me up anywhere and I'll go and get it. I want to be a leader for this team. And again, that's not what the Giants wanted to hear. That's not what the Giants wanted to hear. And then you had Malik Neighbors, who was asked totally different questions, because obviously they don't want to ask all three of the receivers the same questions. So what they asked Malik Neighbors is, what do you do when you don't get the ball? Let's say we're in the third quarter and you haven't caught a ball yet. How do you react? And then obviously I just showed you the clip of them talking, so you already saw what he said. I don't got to revert it back to you. You already heard what he said. He takes losing extremely, important. Kind of reminds you of somebody, right? Same thing Odell Beckham Jr. said. Oh, I take losing extremely important, extremely important. I don't like losing, And then Coach Dable said that, oh, I don't like winning, but you have to harness that anger, you know what I'm saying? Like did Odell Beckham Jr. harness his anger, or he just let it out in the football field? He let it out in the football field. Like I said, they're cut from the same cloth. Don't give me that mumbo jumbo. Oh, he's just passionate. Like you could play passionate and still be humble. You know what I'm saying? But like I can play with an anger and still be passionate about what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't gotta lash out. I don't gotta kiss the kicking net, and I don't gotta propose to the kicking net, and I don't gotta pee on the sideline like a dog, and I don't gotta, like I don't gotta do any of those stuff. Um, I don't gotta do any of those stuff. But since is he's just showing how passionate, like bull crap. You could be passionate and still play the game with integrity, integrity, eh, integrity. I butchered that shit bad. Um, but yeah, it's just sad. I wanted Roma Doomsday, but the Giants thought otherwise. So the Giants obviously passed. Well, they was not going to pick Malik Neighbors, but it was down to Roma Doomsday. I mean, not Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison was already off the board. So it was either between him, it was either between Malik Neighbors and Roma Doomsday. And I wanted JJ McCarthy because I was just tired of my Daniel Jones. I was just tired. But I knew that they couldn't really release him because of his contract. So I know that was not going to go. I know the Giants was not going to go the quarterback route. So they needed to replace, you know, not replace, but they needed to give Daniel Jones a weapon, and they chose Malik Neighbors. Now, time will tell. Let's say 3 years into their contracts or into their professional leagues or careers, who's going to have the bigger impact? Who do y'all think is going to have the bigger impact? Malik Neighbors or Roma Doomsday? Now, obviously, one has a quarterback. Well, no, one has a rookie quarterback, and the other one has a quarterback that's been. I mean, God, I look so drunk. But anyways, I'm not drunk, but the camera is like missing on my face. But like one has a quarterback, one has a rookie quarterback, and then the other one has a quarterback that's been here for 6 years now. Next year he's gonna go on year 7, and always I'm gonna say Daniel Jones reminds me of Jay Cutler, but just with a better arm. Jay Cutler could have run for ish, but boy, he had a rocket of an arm. One playoff game, right? One playoff game, and Stephen A. Smith couldn't stand Jay Cutler. He couldn't stand Jay Cutler. His sorry behind can't throw. Well, not actually, no, that was Tim Tebow. You know, like he was supposed to be on the field, but he was on the sideline driving a bike, one of those um exercise bikes. And then Stephen A. came on here and said his sorry behind should have been playing. The city of Chicago should get their refund for just watching that boy's mess. It was funny. It was funny. He made Stephen A. Smith has made so much fun, but not so much fun. But he made fun of so many quarterbacks. Tim Tebow, Mark Sanchez, because of the butt fumble. Tim Tebow, Mark Sanchez. Oh man, it was gold. But so yeah, so 3 years into their career, we're gonna see who's better. Cause I always like to compare Like when they was doing that comparison between, like who was a better receiver, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, or Odell. And then you had Hopkins, and then obviously Evans. So it was always Jones, AB, Odell, Hopkins, and Evans. Now that you have Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison, and Rome Doomsday, out of those three, who's going to be number 1, 2, and 3? When it's all said and done, I think Malik Neighbors is going to be third. Rome Doomsday is going to be first, and Marvin Harrison is going to be second. But I do believe that Marvin Harrison is going to be like a Julio Jones type, right? Rome Doomsday is going to be more of a Mike Evans type, and Malik Neighbors is going to be more of a Odell Beckham Jr. type, obviously. He's going to make some spectacular catch, whether it's against the Vikings Sunday night or whether it's against, the Cowboys Thanksgiving or whatever. He's going to make some ridiculous catch, and it's going to be all over SportsCenter, or he'll get enough to win a lot of not MVP votes, but a lot of Rookie of the Year votes. Because not everybody is cut from the same cloth, when it comes to making spectacular play, Like Odell Beckham Jr. came into the league with a flair. Odell Beckham Jr. came into the league with a sense of urgency, he came into the league with flair, the buttercup hair, the one-headed catch. Like Odell Beckham Jr. came into the league with an aura about him. You don't sense that in Malik Neighbors. You're not going to get instant stardom with Malik Neighbors, But we're going to see. We're going to see 3 years down the road, because I ain't going to go that far, but I'm just going to say the first 3 years of their career, we're going to see who's who. Because I know a lot of Giants fans, we're going to make the playoffs and this and that, and our offense. And speaking of the offensive line, the Giants went out in but they went out in free agency. Instead of doing it through the draft like the Cowboys did, they're going to bank on a lot of unrecognizable players to come in here and fix this offensive line. This offensive line is not going to be fixed in one day. I hope y'all know that. Just like how they say Rome wasn't built in a day, this offensive line is not going to be built in one day. It's going to take some years for this offensive line to actually rebuild. Because the Giants have failed to build this offensive lineman. If they had done this in the past and just not, like David Wilson was a wasted pick. He was great, but he was a wasted pick. They could have used that on the offensive lineman. That's all I'm saying. So I've been here for like a minute now. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. And just let me know in the comment section down below, in their first 3 seasons, or I'll probably say in their first 5 seasons, who will be the most consistent player? Rome Doomsday or Malik Neighbors?